So it is day 2 of Africa's largest trade and investment fair, IATF 2021. Yesterday saw President Cyril Ramaphosa officially welcoming delegates and dignitaries from across the continent. The IATF 2021 Youth Startup Program seeking to provide a platform for budding enterprises throughout Africa to gain support through mentoring, networking and market linkages. In fact, my co-anchor Ayanda Nyathi joins us now live from the Durban ICC to bring us more on this conversation, and I suppose as well on some of the more interesting stalls that are at the trade fair this year. Ayanda?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning to you, Michelle. It's hard to believe that there are people who don't start work as early as you do, but it seems to be the case here where we're at. Let me just get rid of these glasses. Because for better or for worse, there's still quite a bit of call it stillness, the calm before the storm here where we're at, but it's also a great opportunity for us to get you an idea of the scale of what we're actually dealing with. We're still standing outside what is known as the Egypt Pavilion. And this is very important because in Egypt, specifically in Cairo, is where the very first intra-African trade fair actually took place. And so there's a kind of significance really with this particular pavilion. And I get a sense that a lot of the kind of activity that's going to take place today is going to be a direct result from the lessons learned when this was held in Egypt. And it was years ago. It really begs the question about why it took so long really to have the second run of the intra-Africa trade fair. President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday mentioning that he's hoping that the kind of gains that were made in Egypt, apparently trade of up to about $40 billion, will be outstripped with all the deals that will be signed right here in Durban. But you'll remember that this is an event that's held in collaboration with various other structures. The African Union is certainly one of those institutions that have put their weight behind this particular initiative. The African Union, of course, having 54 member states, all of them have kind of agreed to be part of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, but only about 34 countries or so have officially been ratified. In other words, they're fully on board to, I guess, comply with all the regulations that come with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Afrexim Bank is another major partner whilst we're here. This is their store here, and you can see once again those final touches being put in place before delegates and exhibitionists are finally allowed to come in. They are the major sponsor, if you like, a big partner of this particular conference, and they too, I guess, will certainly have a lot to say about the success, about what it takes to actually pull this off. In fact, the structure that you're seeing now is more the focal point of the exhibition floor, for lack of a better term. It really is the structure that stands out the most as you come through here, and that should really be no surprise considering the role that they're going to be playing here. So about 1,100 exhibitionists set to take part in the 7-day rolling coverage of this particular event. We're expecting about 10,000 visitors in total between today and Sunday, and more importantly, about 40 billion rand worth of deals and investment. At least that's kind of the hope and the goal whilst we're here as well. And so in just a moment, we'll also introduce you to some of the people who had a hand in putting together these structures. It's absolutely no small feat. I mean, we're inside the Durban ICC, but it's very difficult to imagine that considering how much the space has transformed. One of the people in charge of transforming the space, at least who's had some kind of influence in doing exactly that, is Natalie Hewitt. She is a exhibitionist, structure builder, otherwise an entrepreneur. And I'm going to put my glasses here. Thanks for bringing this table. And it's lovely to speak to you here on Newzroom Afrika. Let's speak about the structure behind us, right? This is actually what you have, in some respects, been able to put together for a particular client.
That's correct.
What does it take to pull it off?
It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and good morning, everybody. And it just takes interaction with the clients and knowing that we need to trade. Africa, South Africa, and the globe need to be able to network and trade in exhibitions and in events.
Right. Speaking about exhibitions and events, we weren't always able to do this. I mean, you and I are still trying to navigate wearing a mask and moving around like everybody else in the rest of the world. How has that affected the kind of work you do? It absolutely goes without overstating. The blow must have been quite big.
It has been quite huge. It's been impactful. It's decimated our industry. But you know what? We're coming through here stronger. And we're just hoping and praying that everybody and the government and trade and industry can actually see the importance of opening up exhibitions, conferences events, as well as any social platform, that we can actually be able to do face-to-face networking with trade, because that is how trade needs to be done.
I'm interested to speak a bit more about this particular structure, and I'm hoping that you're able to see as much of it as we can. It really does stand out. It feels like I've stepped into a city within a city in some respects. You get a brief from a client, obviously, and between that brief and actually putting it together, what are some of the considerations you have to make?
All right, Ayanda. Yes, thank you. It is a beautiful structure. We have to try and we get a full brief from our clients, okay? And then what we do is we literally make the brief come alive. And that's how we build it and do it. It does take us a couple of months of work. We do everything from, oh goodness, the organization, the printing, the furniture hire, the manufacture, and then coming through to site and then building it and making sure that the client has a beautiful platform to be able to market and trade from.
Absolutely. Something tells me the client must be very happy about this particular building. We'll speak to them without a doubt throughout the course of the morning. I'm interested to find out what you're hoping to take out of particularly this intra-African trade fair. I mean, a part of it in some respects feels like a kind of blueprint to how exhibitions can take place once again during a global health crisis.
Absolutely. Yes, Ayanda. What we're wanting and hoping for, that this basically is a blueprint, okay? That people and government and all the safety officers and everything that basically can open up these doors can actually use this as a blueprint to see that we do correct vetting, that we do the COVID testing and the security in place and everything else, so that everybody is safe, that they will be able to network, do face-to-face trading, and we can actually move forward and open our doors and be able to trade.
So as far as you're concerned, there should really be nothing holding us back to get back to the kind of life really we used to live, at least insofar as exhibitions are concerned.
Absolutely. It's been 20 long months for our industry with our trading. We're needing to reinvent ourselves, and we would really just like to be able to have these doors open.
Natalie Hewitt, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Really do appreciate. So that is just one of the people who had a hand, like I mentioned earlier, in putting together the kind of structures that we're likely to see today. And once again, I mean, several countries are here, all of them hoping to walk away with, at the very least, improved economic outcomes from the people that they serve back at home. A big part, though, of the considerations and conversations that have taken place is around whether or not the current macroeconomic structure that exists in many countries, including South Africa, enables what is called a trickle-down effect. Academics often speak about a liberal economic structure where this idea that if those at the top succeed, they're able to carry those at the bottom with them. That concept has really come under a lot of criticism, not only from activists but from academics as well, as previously mentioned. And I really wonder personally whether any time will be taken to critically engage with that. In other words, what should ordinary people sitting at home from Ghana to South Africa be thinking about a trade fair like this? In other words, can they be confident that any kind of economic gains for their government will lead to material change for their lives on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are some of the big questions, no doubt, that those countries and certainly their own participants will be hoping for as the outcomes of the IATF 2021. Ayanda Nyathi is live to us throughout the morning with an update of what's to come at the trade fair. It is day 2 today.